Okay, so we are live, and let me close this window before I start talking. Okay, so let's start how we always start with intentions and topics for the call and any distractions if you have some distractions. I'm not distracted by anything other than I found out today I don't have great service in my room, and there's like a whole team meeting out there. So I'm here. The Give House is back in action. That's the only distraction probably. And then my intentions for the call are to go over cadCAD, give a quick update on all the normal points, and probably just go deep into whatever you guys want to talk about. I'll pass it to Sam.
Hello. Well, intention for the call. We can talk about cadCAD, but I also would like to talk about the front end because Marco has added some new slides to the website and they are quite cool. See how you see them and see if it's a good moment to implement them. And I pass it to Andrew.
Hi. There's not much from my side to talk about. I made a bit of progress on Friday, and yeah, I guess I'll talk about that then, I guess.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, let's start. Are you guys down to start with cadCAD? Or okay, let me give the quick points on all the other things first. So narrative frozen. It's great. We don't have to worry about it. Project management. I want to get everything in GitHub. I hope that's going to happen this week. Ravi's been tough to wrangle lately, but we're going to move from ClickUp to GitHub and follow a similar process to what Andrew and I just did for cadCAD. The illustrations and stuff is Marco was on vacation so last week, but it sounds like he did some more front end work. So I'm excited to review those or some design work. And hopefully I'll chase Marco down and beg him to work on some of the some other pieces as well. And then is there anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is that a lot of the planning is sort of just waiting on Marco to finish the designs, and then we'll be able to really plan out our scope of work. So that's any questions on any of that stuff?
I think that he has added some more things, right? He's on vacation since last week.
Yeah, just last week. So he came back this weekend. I'm not surprised that he probably.
I mean, I think that there are new things here. Maybe I just missed them.
Do you want to show them off? You want to share screen?
Yeah, I can share the screen. I mean, there are those initial ones. And I think that those ones are new. Maybe not.
They came at the end of last week.
And this is the last one. And I also seen that he left some explications. Explications, notes on how to build them.
Yeah, you have to like exit the prototype mode. I think it's in the top or bottom. There's like there's a way to go into the comment mode. I can also disseminate them. Oh yeah.
Here it is. Like Fabric.js demos, Pixie.js, WebGL.
Nice. So what I would say that if you want to start hacking on this, the first thing is really talk to Marco before you do anything. And because I'm not sure that the way he proposed this was that, okay, this is the vibe I'm going for. It's not like a mock-up, you know? But I know that you actually also have some nice design talent, a lot that not every dev has. Just to say it bluntly. So I think that you could probably, if you were hot to try, I just reach out to Marco and say, dude, I love it. I want to build it. Where do I start? And he'd be like, okay, let's do it. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Well, last week we said that we could first do the MVP of something very simple. I didn't work on that, and Andrew also said me that we could begin with just a simple graph on the price, the hedge price, and I don't know what else, that he will provide the JSON on the with the data, and to have that graph on the front end. Is that something that you discussed before, or is it? This is what Andrew. This is what we are going to do during these 2 weeks.
The graph and stuff, that was kind of decided a long time ago. Griff told me that much stuff. When we look at the GitHub issue, though, there are some further requirements for commons success versus commons failure that are not just the hatch price and all that stuff. And we may want to communicate this to the front end as well, actually.
So I'm not 100. I think I think this is. I want to say that for the common success and commons failure, I see that as less for the game and more for the like actual simulation.
Okay.
So what's important is that our simulation somehow matches something that we could see as being reality. Like if we can't ever get a commons to fail in these ways, you know, or succeed in these ways, then our simulation probably doesn't have enough depth to it. Is kind of what these metrics mean to me, at least. It's like a way to be like, yeah, but can you make a commons that fails? You know, like, because if your simulation, if they always win, you know, if every commons price is going up and every every commons is failing every time, then our simulation is really bad.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So basically, just all that needs to be reported is just the what was that now? The graph. That's it.
Yeah, the two graphs. So one is price versus time, and the other one is common pool, the funding pool value versus time.
I was also checking out those metrics. Maybe we need. I think that all of them are interesting to show to the user at the end, like overall sentiment, 70%, blah 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 blah.
Maybe an advanced tab or something, but honestly,
you think so?
It's something that the developers would like to see, or the social engineers and the people designing the system. But the game, we can't make it too complex, right? Like it might be too much information.
But just it's like the result is that the people is the price token is higher than at the beginning, and that can be represented in some way, and the people is happy. The sentiment must not be a 07. It can be people happy or something like that. I mean, those are not that geek. It's not that. It's not that. We can even write it if we want. In a, as a side note.
I guess I'd be open to a graph of sentiment over time. I'd be open to something like that. But as long as it's something that's very simple, like, because we're going to have to define sentiment, you know? Like, and we're going to have to explain
my comment is more related with if our output is binary, it's a success or it's a failure, you need a weighted metric in which you take into account all the metrics and put a weight on all of them.
Yeah.
Because it can be that we have an overall sentiment of 0.7, which is a success, but at the same time, the token price is very low, which is a failure. So what we where do we put the in order to do that binary thing, or it can be something like very good, very bad, or normal, or we just don't show the success commons if it's not very good. We can have a weighted metric. You know what I mean? To sum all the metrics and weight them according to our needs.
Yeah, so at the end, the score, we are gonna like score people. I was, the original plan up until this point was to keep the score focused on the price of the token, basically the economic success of the commons, and then the funding pool, like how much the funding pool had grown and also how much the funding pool had spent. And so like the more it spends and the bigger, the more it spends basically being the core thing, but also a number of projects being funded, having a diversity of funding instead of spending it all on one project, right? Like having a diversity of projects, just like kind of some funding pool metrics. And that being it. However, if we want to also include metrics around sentiment, I mean, I think it makes sense. It makes sense. We could do it, and then we aggregate those three scores into one score, basically.
And there is something that I don't understand. You just say that we should not show those metrics.
No, we show them as graphs, but we don't have to show the in between numbers, right? So
okay.
like okay, here's a graph of the price versus time. Here's a graph of the funding pool versus time. And when you see the funding pool versus time, you can see it going generally slowly up and then drop when it comes to projects, drop when it comes to projects, slowly up, drop when it comes to projects. So you can kind of understand what's happening just by looking at the graph.
Okay, and why not just the inverse? We show the final thing, and then if people want to know more, they can open the graphs. Because a graph has much more information than the result, and the result is something that
so
you can.
The idea was to make them have to have some critical thinking, so that this was what Max had said, is that if they have to look at the graphs and then choose if they did a good job, you know, then now they're responsible for interpreting these graphs, and that makes them think like, oh, did I do a good job? Do I want to submit this as a high score? And then when they fail, they're like, oh, damn it. So then what's wrong with this graph? You know, and then they ask that question. You know? That was the full concept. I do think that we're probably a month away at least from dealing with metrics, though.
I still not convinced, because what we are choosing as metrics is the final result. So the graph doesn't have any relevance. It's just an information for the user of how we ended up in that point. So
yeah, the graph shows what happened over time for that commons, right? Like it gives it gives it a story over time.
And that's important for the user to understand what happened, but at the same time, the only information that we take is the final, in order to know to give a score.
Yes.
So,
in the end, we give a high score, right? But
so I will advocate to just show the end results anyway in the design, and then if people want to see what happened, they have all the graphs later, the page. We can discuss it with Marco.
We can discuss it. I mean, but in general, the like cadCAD flow is that you tweak some, you put some parameters in, and then you look at the results, and then you decide if you want to go back and change them, right? You know, like, and so it's like when you giving them this like opportunity to look at the results and then go back and change the parameters. I feel like that is like, it communicates the cadCAD story, you know?
Yeah. But
we can include the number result with it. I mean, I think it should just be hidden. It seems like too much information for me, but if you, because I feel like the graph with the time and where you can see like something, you know, and you can see what, and like we could even do like an animation of the graph, like, you know, where,
yeah,
you know,
like in the ABC demo, yeah.
Or and also like, oh, the funding pool's going, oh, just one giant drop, oh, they funded one giant project, and look, they were never able to fund anything.
Yeah, something like that would be cool. Yeah. Yeah, I understand the point now. Yeah, also in the ABC demo, it's quite cool. The problem I see with the ABC demo is that there are cool animations, but it's very difficult to understand what's going on. It's, for example, because you might not understand what the graph says and what are the elements of each part. And even if you click on the question mark icon, it's still a little bit difficult to understand. But yeah, I get the overall sentiment on what should be which should be the what cadCAD should look like. It's
but honestly, sorry, go ahead.
It's a graph over time. and we should reflect that.
And one thing that Andrew mentioned, and I think you mentioned at the beginning, was including sentiment. And just the more that I think about it, it does communicate. Having a graph of sentiment over time would be also pretty interesting, because then you have the economic side, you have the like social collective funding side, right? And then you have the actual cultural side being described over time. And you might even see correlations between the different graphs, you know, and there's like an opportunity to be like, oh yeah, maybe it's not just about money. Maybe there's also like a cultural like goal here. And having that as a third metric.
Yeah, and also proposals that has passed and which is their impact.
Yeah, I think proposals that have passed need to be included in the funding pool metric of the score. But since we're looking at this document, so this is like the cadCAD roadmap, and I'm pretty proud of it because I'm not usually this organized. Gustav has really inspired me, and Andrew played along and helped a lot to make this whole thing really. And so now we actually have a plan for how to execute on cadCAD. We do need like a second dev for you know, helping Andrew with this stuff. I get a fresh pair of eyes there. And there's some key pieces. Is there anything that I should click on this thing that you finished, Andrew?
I've ticked the stuff that those new ticks that I have. They were done on Friday.
Ooh. Which ones?
These ones, yeah, in the proposal and participant.
Oh, nice. Wow, nice. So you finished all the proposal stuff, finished all the participant pieces, or finished 2 of the participant pieces. So you did add selling.
I mean, no, I haven't added selling to the simulation, but the agent itself can decide to sell. Nice. Wait, did I really implement that? Wait a minute.
Well, if you decide, probably when they decide to buy more tokens, you just made it possible for them to decide to buy negative tokens or something.
Oh, I see. Yes, it does decide to sell at a random rate that is the same formula as what was in Zarkem's thing. Yes. Okay.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. So there's a lot to do here for sure. But the main thing is to try to get it done for the game first, while considering that we want to have a really nice simulation for the common stack, and for that the token engineering commons can use. So yeah, and one of the big pieces that will be really helpful for Andrew, I think, and is something that the front end needs eventually, is, or at least like that will help Andrew provide the information the front end needs, is working with Andrew to basically make a very basic front end with no design that has the 6 inputs, so that someone can go and put 6 inputs in, and then we can get cadCAD to kick out 2 or 3 graphs if you guys feel like adding sentiment.
Okay. Yeah, exactly what we said the last week. Where are the how do we connect that? Because
I think you should tell me how you would like the HTTP post to be organized, and then.
Okay, I can share my screen, and we have let me. Here in constack.
Ooh, proposal candidate. Ooh, that looks interesting. cadCAD. I think he's in cadCAD.
No,
Oh yeah, that's true. There's this.
If you change something, but I think that it's here.
Yeah.
In the server pie. The way that we were doing that is that we have the simulation in that server.pa, and each function is one of the
Okay, so it's already decided.
It's an API, and each endpoint, for example, nothing is just it just serves the React frontend. But if you ask for community, you can send through get or post. You can send the participants and proposals, and this is number of participants and number of proposals. And what it makes is to run part of the initial simulation.
But wait a minute, I heard that I was supposed to get all the data at once. And then I do the simulation. I heard that I was supposed to get the data all at once, and then I just go on all at once to the simulation. There's no partial stuff here.
Yeah. Exactly. The partial stuff is it just makes some. It is gathering the data, and the cadCAD part is later. Bear with me. We first get the two participants and proposals, and we show the well, we actually create the networking. We actually create the network and run the cadCAD simulation in two parts. In how we are doing things. I don't know if we continue doing that or not, but how it was.
We cut out all that stuff basically.
Okay.
So that we're just going to, instead of showing them any results in the middle, we only show them data at the end. We only show them the graphs. We don't show them the D3 graphs. We don't show them all this stuff. It was too much.
Okay.
So now it's just like
the graphs in the middle are not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we just need the 6 sliders.
And the number of participants and proposals.
Okay. How it was, we were getting participants and proposals here. Mm-hmm. Then in the next one, we were getting the theta vesting and hatch price. I guess that the hatch price was had a default, and if you go to advanced, you can change that. But the important things were theta and vesting, and I guess that we changed that too, because vesting we still have vesting, right?
No, we took out everything. Actually, you took out everything that was ABC related, or we took it out together. So I think hatch price and vesting are both taken out.
Okay. And theta is still part of the hatch.
Theta is still there.
So which are the
rest are still there, I think.
The important stuff is participants, proposals, theta,
alpha, and exit tribute.
Wait a sec. Exit tribute.
Alpha.
Exit tribute is here.
Or I guess, yeah, exit tribute. Alpha. I don't see anything else here, but I think it's just lower. Oh yeah, alpha, beta, alpha and beta. Okay. Alpha, beta, exit tribute, participants.
participants' proposals, and we need one more. If we have 5.
Alpha, beta, theta, exit tribute, participants, and proposals.
Okay, theta is the one.
Alpha, beta, theta, participants, proposals, exit tribute.
Okay.
Alpha, beta, theta.
Okay. And okay.
And with alpha might be a little tricky. I mean, we might have to do some tricks to derive alpha. We don't need to actually have alpha because I think Andrew derives alpha from the in the simulation. So we just need to know, instead of alpha, 80% max voting time or whatever.
I have a trick to do that. I don't know if Andrew have the same trick, but there is a formula in which you can have the alpha from the half time.
Yeah, we figured out that formula together, so we don't really need any. So yeah, just give me the 80% whatever cliff vesting thing.
Okay.
Yeah, the number of days, basically. The number of days for voting max time.
Okay. I have it too in the.
Wait, actually, hold on. We did that for vesting, right, Andrew? Did we do that for alpha? For the conviction voting?
I forgot what alpha is.
Alpha is the conviction voting parameter that, like, Sam, can you show him the P2P models sim that you made? But basically, alpha is what determines how many days it takes to reach max voting power.
Alpha, okay, so alpha, we have that.
So I think that you do need to convert for alpha, actually, Sam. So that's a fun product. That's a fun one. Because I think we
still need
some,
an input for alpha, which is
yeah,
the number of days. But yeah, okay.
Well, we'll need that because we asked them right now, and maybe they'll change, but we asked them how many days it takes to reach 80% of the voting power. It's
Okay.
the only complicated question that makes people think. But
okay, the thing is that we had an API with many endpoints, and we will just have, I guess, 2 endpoints. We can, because we don't need to gather all the data one after the other. We will just have the website, which is here, and the cadCAD, because we will have all the data, and then we send it to cadCAD. So we will have here the 6 parameters, and then we have here initial conditions, params, blah blah from cadCAD, blah 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 blah. So I can get that from another Python file, or we can have it just right here if we want, as you want, Andrew. But what I have here is that I'm running the cadCAD simulation right here.
I think that there's a dream to have a config file for the cadCAD sim. There's a few things that we want to be able to trigger, like to make it random or not. Like it can't be random for the game, but for every other application, it should have randomness involved, so that you can run. And also like the T, N, and M at the end, the parameters, Monte Carlo runs, the time. Those should be configurable in a config file as opposed to having to dive into the code.
Yeah.
So I think
You are saying that those params, for example, right? The sensitivity, T-mine, blah, blah, that could be in a config file, right?
Yeah, I think for the long-term use of these models, it would be better if they were part of the, like in a config file in the model, so someone can go in and just go to this file and be like, I'm gonna do a parameter sweep on this, you know, and I'm gonna change the config or whatever they want to do. You know, you can configure all this stuff in one file because if it's stuck in the game in the front end for the game, then it's harder to use the sim later.
It is going to be in a server, so I don't know. Well, probably that's not a. We can have that in a config file. It's not a bad idea.
And then basically the game changes the config file on just these 6 variables.
No.
To start.
No.
MVP.
This is working pretty well.
What?
It is working pretty well because we have a server that is running, and we have that endpoint, and we send via post the different parameters, the 6 parameters. The rest can be in a config file if you want. But the parameters that we are sending, they should not change any config file. They are sent through post.
That's true.
Okay.
And then when we and it runs the simulation, and we are fine because the results are here. Are here. These are the results. We can JSONify the objects that cadCAD is throwing, and we serve them as a JSON. So basically, what you are doing is asking to an endpoint about these are the parameters. Please calculate me the results, and this is what it does. So, Andrew, how do we do that? You have the cadCAD over there, or I import a function and call it? Because I guess that
I think you will. I think I will have something that you function.
Sorry, I broke up for a second. Okay, so okay, cool. So you guys are you gonna be able to hack on this week, you guys?
I think so. But Andrew, where are you here?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't understand. How do we do that? You
Well,
have
actually,
that.
I have the what? What do you need?
I need that part here. I mean the parameters, the partial state update blocks, all this part as it is in.
I think I will wrap it in a function that just returns the JSON results.
Okay.
Right. So you just call my function. You just parse the post request. You call this function, and I will give you the JSON. That's it.
Okay. And that function will have as parameters the parameters that are, I mean, alpha, beta, etc. Okay. And you will use already that JSONify, right?
What JSON file?
there is a function that is called JSON if I.
Well, I don't know. Do I need it? I mean, I can make JSON through other ways as well, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay. And with the result that you send, I return it, and this will be this part at least. And then we will need a front end in order to show the JSON in a cool graph. Which is going to be the result? The one that you showed me. I mean, you send me a message with a JSON that is just one graph. Is it just that, or there are more things?
I think the JSON is that's all. That's all I'm going to send you.
Okay. It was 3 time series of that are similar to this graph here. To the graph in the simulation.
Yeah, I'll send you the. It was in conviction.
In conviction.
cadCAD 3. Conviction cadCAD 3 IPyMV.
Ideally, it's the price versus time, and that time should be at least 700 days, 700 time steps. And it could be more if it's happening really fast, because I would like to see a comment's long-term success, not just 2 years. You know, so price versus time, and conviction. Sorry, funding pool versus time.
Okay, we have. Okay. Let me check in the Telegram what we have.
Price of the token versus time, funding pool versus time, and then if you guys are feeling frisky, you can throw sentiment in. I'd say it's
maybe on the next sprint.
Yeah, there we go. Next sprint.
Okay, what you sent me was funding pool, token supply, and collateral. And we have here funding. It's different here. Funds.
Yeah, they're different but the same.
And we show them like here, right? It's just time over funds, right? Because all them are.
Yeah, I mean, it's really how you want to present it.
Token supply is not in DAI, and collateral.
From collateral, you can get the price.
I guess that we can have 2 axes, right? We can have.
We don't want 2 axes. We're going for simple.
Yeah, 2 axes graphs are hard to read.
We want people to be able to look at it and see the price versus time is a standard graph that all of our audience will understand. And amount of funds, amount of money in the funding pool over time, I think also will make sense to people. In fact, maybe we should call it the donation pool, but funding pool, amount of money that they have over time. It's like, oh, why'd it go down? Because they spent it on proposal, I think, why'd it go up? Oh, because they collected it,
So we are converting this to everything to XDAI?
No, I wouldn't use that graph as a reference. The narrative is the reference.
Okay. So we will have 3 series: funding pool, token supply, and collateral. What do we do with them? 3 graphs.
Yeah, you please don't put them all into one graph. That's terrible.
Well, supply we don't need. What we need is price. So from the supply and the collateral, you can get the price?
From the supply and the collateral?
Because it should be supply is the number of tokens, and then collateral when you plug it into the when you
Wait,
plug.
you need price over time? You need token price over time?
Yeah, we need token price.
Oh. Shit. Can you add that to the issue? I don't think we have that right now.
Yeah, let me see.
We should have it because it was here. Price. I think that this is the token
I
price.
guess we just say spits out the graphs, but we didn't explicitly say what it was. So.
I mean, it is quite accessible because in the conviction 3, it was here. So it's over here, I guess. Maybe in one of those tables, it's the token over the price over time.
But now it's the commons object that's keeping that. Now you have to like ask the common after every step, like so. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, he rewrote it completely.
Okay. Okay, we will see what we show. If send me the code with the JSON generated, and from that I can do 4 graphs, and then if it has sense, we make 2 of them, or we see what we do. I mean,
that's fair. And honestly, the more graphs, the better for this version for testing.
Yeah.
Because like the whole point here is like a basic front end, so we can tweak it and play with it and understand if the simulation is making sense. It doesn't have to be the finished product.
Okay.
Like, so if we make a couple extra graphs, I don't think that it's a bad thing.
Okay. Andrew, when do we? Is the code already available, or how can I get that code?
It's the big rewrite run. It's the big rewrite run on. There is no code that expects to be talking to a front end right now. What I plan to do is basically convert the notebook into a normal Python file, put a little wrapper function around that, and then you're going to call that function.
Okay, and this will be available for when you say that we are going to do this in this sprint. You are thinking about 2 weeks or just 1?
Like 2 weeks, because I mean I can give you the stuff, but it's not going to work anyway because I need to get the back stuff working.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
by the way, I can still work in the front end part. No worries.
Yeah. I mean, if you get him the stuff in it, and then we'll be able to see then it'll just show that the back end isn't working, right? Or will it really not be able to pump out the graphs at all?
I mean, the simulation doesn't work at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, the simulation definitely doesn't, but the simulation doesn't work as in like there's no one selling tokens, so it's always a success. But the simulation does run, right?
No, I'm in the middle of rewriting it.
Ah. Okay. So, well, cool.
Okay. I guess that it's a 2-week workflow. And I don't think that the front end part is going to be so hard. And I guess I can have the controls for the next week, and then we put everything together and make the graphs in the second half of the sprint. Okay, I think that this is what we can do.
Yeah, and I think it sounds like you guys are just going to chat on Telegram and make it work, right? And figure out when things can happen. And then the next move is for us to talk to Marco, because what I really want from Marco is the more kind of like some fun little modules to work on, like all the selection modules, you know, like the hatchers where you have the layered of people. You know, I still think we can do that. We don't have to have an illustrator draw each individual person. We can find little people and stuff like that. And as long as Marco still sees that as an option, you know. So
okay.
maybe
in another moment. I have another call, by the way.
Yeah, me too, in 5 minutes. But I want to say that maybe I'll try to have a vision sync with Marco this week, and maybe I'll invite you, Sam, and we can see if I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that he could attend next week, or it is better to have an independent call?
I think he doesn't like these team sync calls, from what I can tell. Because in other groups as well, he's just like, no, it's a waste of my time to sync with you guys.
Okay.
I think that more like work group calls that are specifically focused on this, on the one aspect, is more fun for him. So
Okay.
trying to get him to hack on this with just you and me, and see if he can prioritize some small pieces.
Let's focus on that, and that's all. Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool.
Okay.
That was fun. Thank you, guys.
Okay, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Sam.